This guy named Dog. I'm gonna be doing a Khazan, first Beserker Khazan tier list. But with every Souls-like game, one of the main attractions are the bosses. So we're gonna go from left to right, top to bottom. And first up, we have the tutorial boss. He was pretty cool, taught you a lot of things. Had some cool attacks and stuff like that. Pretty standard tutorial boss. He's an ape, a monkey boss that gets pretty brutal. But other than that, he wasn't too hard, wasn't too easy, and really shows you, what you could do in the game. I think I'm gonna probably put him high C. I'll put him in C. It wasn't too crazy. And it's funny because we go from tier C tutorial boss to the second boss in the game, and you pretty much see him all throughout the game. And that's the Blade Phantom. And this boss fight was really good in my opinion. So good, I'm gonna put him in S. He's probably the best boss fight in the game, and I don't think any other boss tops that. There's cool bosses, that's for sure, but for the second boss fight, Blade Phantom was super good. He was really cool moves. A lot of moves you could parry, and you can stop him in his tracks for good damage. He didn't have too much armor to the point where like it felt hard for someone like me who wields a greatsword to hit him. So yeah, he's not a big body, so the camera isn't all crazy like it's more here. Yeah, Blade Phantom, he was just so cool. Alright, next we have the Viper Dragon. Viper Dragon, honestly, I'm gonna give him a B, because that second phase was pretty cool. It took me a while to get used to the first phase, to be honest with you, but once you get that second phase, I feel like he's a little weaker in that second phase, and he's more predictable. But yeah, he wasn't that bad of a boss. I'm gonna give him a B. The goat, not in terms of bosses, but he wasn't bad either. I'm probably gonna give him a low B. I like the rhythm that they kind of like want you to play him. Like you have to parry this guy. I don't see how you do not parry him. When he does that flurry dual wield axe attack, you have to parry him for that stamina damage, and to not lose your stamina actually, because if you just dodge, your stamina is going to go down, and he gets tired. Well, you have no stamina to hit him back, so you kind of have to parry. And it's kind of like a parry mini game. It's not too hard to do it, but he was cool. And I also like the level, like he will literally put fire on the bottom floor, so you have to fight him up at the top floor. Interesting concept. It was cool. I'm actually, I'm gonna put him in front. His boss fight was fun. When I beat him, I had way more pleasure beating him than I did Viper. Alright. Armored Spider. When I first saw this guy, I was like, bro, this is gonna be whack. It's just a spider. But then you get to like cut off his arms, and then when he goes up into the nest, you could throw your spears at him. He falls, and then you could get a brutal attack. Like this boss was super he was super interactive, and I really liked it. I think I'm gonna put him in A, to be honest with you. I think I'm gonna put him in A. He wasn't that hard. Some of his command grabs are pretty hard though. Or not command grabs, but like the ones where you have to parry, not the regular parry, but the ones where you have to parry, where the symbol comes up, kind of like Sekiro. They were like very delayed, but it was still fun. And when you get to the point where you could chop his arms off, that was really cool. And he goes into the nest, and like I said, you could throw the javelins, and he falls down, and you can capitalize on it. That was really cool. This guy, however, was fucking annoying. I'm gonna give him a C. I didn't like his is this the flamethrower guy? I think he was the flamethrower guy. I didn't really like him too much. He was more annoying. He was like a keep away character in a fighting game, where he's just lobbing arrows at you, and fire arrows, and trying to keep you away. And then he eats to get his stamina back, but it was so whack. I did not like him at all. I give him a C, possibly a D. Nah, I'll give him a C. Here, I forgot his name. I forgot all of these people's names. But he was the dual wield guy. Dual wield guy. Second phase is a katana. So in the first phase, he was nice, slow, and tanky. But in the second phase, he takes out the katana, he gets consumed by the chaos, right? That's what this game's all about, being consumed by the chaos. He gets consumed by the chaos and he gets all fast, takes out the katana. But it was really cool because, you know what, I'm gonna put him in front of Hyper. Actually, you know what? I'll put him in front of the GOAT too. But it was really cool too because you get rewarded for parrying his very fast dashes. You parry his fast dash, you stop him in his tracks, and you get to hit him for huge damage. If you get that combo down, at least for me in the greatsword, I have like my go-to combo when someone gets staggered like that from a parry, and you just go in and you go ham. He was probably one of the most difficult bosses in the game for me, but he was cool, and it was satisfying getting those parries off and the perfect dodges too. All right, next up we have Elamane. Elamane, she's like what, 4th or 5th boss? This taught me a lot. This teaches you a lot, this fight, because out of all these bosses, believe it or not, Elamane's the tankiest because she's like a female knight with a shield and she doesn't put that shit down. I'm gonna give her an A. The first Huz that you fight, the first waifu that you meet is Elamane, and the way you defeat her, or at least my game plan was, I was like, man, this boss is so tanky, but when she hits back at you, she hits hard and she keeps going and going and going. So you watch her stamina, you dodge, you parry, you run away, and you pretty much let her kill herself by lowering her stamina. Once her stamina goes down, boom, you go in and her stamina is already low, so you get that brutal attack. Then after you get that brutal attack, what did you get next in this game? You get combo damage, baby. Combo damage. And Elamane, she's not like a really big body, she's a small body. And since you already did the brutal attack, she's kind of staggered a little bit. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but they get that like dizziness in their head, like the Tweety birds or whatever. Like they're stunned. So you can go in for some big damage. And Elamane taught me like, damn, you really gotta look at the stamina. She was a cool boss too. Taught you a lot in the game. I'm glad she came early and not like 10th boss or something. Wait, is this really 16? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, so it is 16. This boss sucks. He was just a raging ape. He was like this guy, but worse. He was like the tutorial boss, but worse. He's just super angry. A dog on the loose. No moves that are crazy. No special introduction. You're just in like a sewer or whatever. Like a dungeon. He comes out all pissed. Yeah, nothing really to say about this guy. He kind of sucked. Alright, Troka. The other waifu you meet, I'm gonna give her... What do I give Troka? Because she was challenging. Because she's also a keep away character like this guy was. But she's a mage. But you could also stay on top of her and cancel your stuff. And also the pleasure after beating her was good too. Yeah, because she's very staggerable. You hit her and she's staggering. And you can really get your combos off. It's just the fact that you get on top of her and then she teleports away. Or like she floats away. Puts a wave at you. And she's casting spells and spells and spells and spells. But defeating her was very pleasurable, I would say. Not too hard, just gotta know her moves, and she doesn't have that many moves. She's not too crazy. However, someone very similar, but I think I have found like a lot more pleasure in beating. I forgot her name. I think it was Bellamere. I forgot her name, but she's probably the best waifu in the game. And I think she was a cool boss. She's a sorceress. She has a lot of spells, right? She has a summon, which kind of sucks, and she puts that shield around herself. However, a technique, if you guys are still struggling with her, is if you manage your stamina and stay on top of her, because when she puts that shield up, she is staggerable. And when you stagger, when she's putting that shield up, she doesn't put it up no more. The spell is cancelled, and she doesn't put the shield up. That's probably the biggest thing that I found with her, and I think her spells are really cool. She's like a death sorceress, right? Like she studied necromancy in the story. So yeah, she's not like your traditional throw fire, throw ice. She throws like necro spells at you, which is really cool and really fancy looking too. This guy was cool. I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna give him. Yeah, I'll put him right here. I'll put him below Bellinaire, Bellarmé, Bellaris or something. I forgot. I think his name was Scalpel, but he was cool. His second phase was sick. I like the fact that he gets really strong and really crazy, but at the same time his health is diminishing. So if you could just survive, he'll kill himself, which is kind of what my game plan was when I faced him. Is block, dodge what I knew already from the first phase, because some of the first phase moves come over to the second phase, and kind of let him kill himself. Play it safe, right? And I think he was just a cool boss in general with that coffin that he had. So yeah, Scalpel was a pretty cool boss. All right, Fence Princess. Fence Princess was pretty cool. What did she have? She had the choir move. She summons a choir, and they do have like magic bullets and stuff like that. First phase was pretty quick. She does a lot of fencing, piercing moves. Kind of hard to parry, in all honesty. I'm gonna give her, in a way, she was kind of like the GOAT. However, I'm gonna say it wasn't as fun, but she was cool. It wasn't as fun, but she was cool to play against. And she wasn't that stackable. Now that I think about it, when I try to do my combos, I had to end it early because she would kind of recover pretty damn quick. Hismar. Okay, Hismar, worst boss in the game. Obviously, a disease that Souls-like games suffer from, right, is big body bosses because the camera just gets all wonky. But other than that, he's not that hard of a boss either way. And when you get him to his second phase, he's not that crazy. He doesn't even look like that cool of a dragon either way. To be honest with you, I didn't really find him to be too hard, other than maybe the camera angles. But he wasn't like a Bale from Elden Ring. All right. I forgot her name, but the other princess, she was okay. I'll put her here. I'll put her here because she did cast a lot of spells at you. Damn, now that I think about it, there's a lot of bosses that cast a lot of spells at you. And she even casts like a magical wall that you cannot pass through. But also her spells can't pass through it either. And her spells get really annoying because they track you. And it's so annoying. Well, I guess Trokas track you too, and so does Bellinaire's. They track you too. A huge reason why Bellinaire's in A, by the way, is because she's the best waifu in the game. Like, I love Dark Elves. I'm pretty biased, honestly. But for her, you could use the walls against her, and I really like that. I really like how you could use the boss's move against her. What else? I remember there was a way you could make her tired and do big damage. I forgot what it was, but I think she did a move and you could parry it or something, or you can interrupt something. That's what it was. You interrupt the move. She does like a big light attack, and for me with my greatsword, I did my dash attack. I interrupted it, and she just gets mega staggered. She does not know what to do, and I thought that was pretty cool. So she's not too bad of a boss. I give her like in the middle of B. And then we have Final Boss. Final Boss is pretty cool, right? Ozma. I'm gonna put him here. He wasn't my favorite boss, but he was a cool boss. They put a lot of time and effort to him. Give him some crazy camera angles. He floats up with the lance, right? And he comes down at you. Does a lot of flashy nuclear bomb moves, especially in his second phase. I didn't even figure out his second phase with his nuclear bomb second phase where he puts that rock. I literally just out-healed it. I let it hit me, and then I just healed it. That's how I figured that out. Other than that, he was an alright boss. I don't think he was too difficult, to be honest with you. I still think the most difficult boss for me was this dude, but he wasn't like the best boss. It's because he's difficult doesn't make him the best. The best boss, in my opinion, was your homie, the guy that helps you in the game, Blade Phantom. Right? Yeah, I think that's it. Let me just double check. His is definitely the worst. This guy definitely sucks too. This guy, yeah, he was annoying as hell. Tutorial boss was fine. Troka, the Viper. I think everything's correct. The Go I had fun with. Answer chick, she was cool. Princess was alright. This guy was the most difficult boss for me. Had a lot of pleasure in fighting him. The Spider, very cool interactive boss. Final boss should be here. I really liked Element. She taught me a lot about the stamina bar because she's super tanky. So I had to capitalize elsewhere and not just hitting her. Scalpel was cool. He had that command grab with the coffin and stuff like that. I forgot her name, Bellamare, some shit like that. She was cool. And then Blade Phantom. Yeah, that seems about right. Alright, that's my character tier list for the first Beserker Khazan. Thanks you guys for watching. I definitely recommend the game, and I'm working on a review as I speak. Peace.